I'm Karen, 27 years old. My husband Steven is the same age, and we got married last year. We both work full-time. I'm a nurse and Steven is in pharmaceutical sales. We met at a happy hour event organized by a coworker. I love a good drink, so that evening, the after-work cocktails tasted especially good. We had crossed paths before, but that night was the first time we really talked. Our drink preferences clicked and we hit it off. Every time we met, it was fun and countable. So it didn't take long for us to start dating. On my birthday, Steven confessed his feelings and we officially became a couple. Our favorite dates involve finding hidden gems that serve great drinks. I love wine while Steven is into sake. Our differing tastes actually make it fun as we get to teach each other new things. As our relationship progressed, I started thinking about marriage. That's when I learned about Steven's background. His parents divorced when he was young and he never knew his father. He was raised by a single mom and they're very close. Steven has never moved out of his family home. Is that a flaw or does it show how much he values family? I tend to get blinded by love, and back then I saw it as a positive trait. Steven is kind and incredibly handsome. I couldn't find any flaws. I felt so lucky to marry the perfect man that it scared me. I had no idea that a terrifying married life awaited me. Before the wedding, I often dined with my mother-in-law. She would always tell Steven, "Karen is like a daughter to me. Don't let her get away. Marry her soon." I always told Steven I felt happy hearing this and looked forward to becoming family. Steven, who's great with people, also had a stellar reputation with my parents. Everything went smoothly and we got married. Neither of us likes being the center of attention, so we didn't have a big wedding. After the wedding, Steven moved out of his family home for the first time. However, concerned about his mom, we chose an apartment just a 10-minute walk from his family home. In hindsight, that was a mistake, but it's too little, too late now. My mother-in-law, who used to treat me like a daughter, changed after the wedding. She started treating me like a mortal enemy and began visiting daily. I gently told Steven, "I appreciate that your mom visits every day, but it's hard for me to relax. Could you ask her to come less often on work days?" Steven responded,
Why? We're family now. Mom gets lonely. She loves to talk and hates being alone. I wish you would be more understanding. This is my home too, and I can't tell her something I don't believe. If you have something to say it yourself. I won't.
Steven doesn't accept my opinion. I was surprised by his unexpected response. From that day on, Steven would get moody whenever I mentioned anything about his mother. I started to hold back to avoid arguments. My mother-in-law took advantage of this. Before I knew it, Steven had given her a spare key. One day, I came home to find mother-in-law cooking in our kitchen without asking. I was shocked to find her in my space, so my tone got a bit sharp. "What are you doing, mother-in-law? You can't just come in here without asking." Mother-in-law shot back, "What's going on with your fridge? It's practically empty. I have never seen such a lifeless fridge. Do you even cook? Don't tell me you're always buying deli items." I couldn't hold back anymore. "I shop for fresh ingredients daily. I've heard your fridge is always packed like a traffic jam. It's impressive you can manage that. I just bought ingredients today. Sure, we have deli days, but I also cook to save money. And by the way, deli food these days is pretty good. Don't you ever try it?" Mother-in-law wasn't backing down. "Oh, listen to you. I would rather not have Steven eat food when we don't even know who made it. This is what happens when he marries an incompetent wife. I should have taught him to be more discerning about women." Sparks were flying between us. Once I started airing my grievances, I couldn't stop. "Do you see the shopping bag, mother-in-law? There's not a single deli item in it. I'm busy, so could you please not get in my way? You're not even a guest anymore since you let yourself in." Mother-in-law stormed out, her face red. "I'll tell Steven about this." I had more to say, but she left. I knew I was in the right, although it made me uncomfortable. I wasn't wrong. I shook off the bad vibes and started cooking pot roast. Then Steven came home, his face a splitting image of his angry mom.
What did you say to Mom? She called me crying. How could you be so cruel when she was just trying to help because you're busy?
I was baffled. First off, breaking into someone's home isn't a surprise. And If it is, then burglars should be forgiven if they call it a surprise, right? This happened because you gave her a spare key. She could have come when one of us was home. It's not only unnecessary but also intrusive. What about my privacy? I have no intention of apologizing. Stephen looked shocked and one word.
Please, can you two just get along?
He retreated to his room without eating dinner. I hoped this fight would make him more considerate. For the next 2 days, we barely spoke. I couldn't stand the tension, so I brought it up. What do you want to do going forward? I don't want a relationship where we don't communicate. Let's talk. Stephen finally said,
Mom's remorseful. She was crying yesterday. Worried you would never forgive her. The root cause was me giving her the spare key. I'm sorry, Karen.
I didn't care about mother-in-law. As long as Stephen understood, that was enough. My weakness showed and I forgave him. Even though I know in the back of my mind, my fault is that I forgive it. Stephen immediately called mother-in-law. She came running, happy to be summoned. I had a bad feeling, but I was tired of fighting. If she would change her ways, fine. As soon as mother-in-law saw my face, it was as if a switch had been turned on. Oh, I'm so relieved. I thought Karen would never speak to me again. I know I overstepped and I promised never to do it again. Mother-in-law started talking in a voice as sweet as if she were talking to a cat. For some reason, I just have a bad feeling about it. She then pulled out a mysterious bag from her purse. I met an old friend from college yesterday. She's unbelievably youthful and beautiful. She gave me some Chinese tea. That's her beauty secret. I thought I'd share some with you, not that you need it. I had a bad feeling, but felt awkward refusing.
Stephen whispered, just have 1 cup of tea with her. I'll make sure she leaves as soon as possible.
So, wanting her gone, I agreed to drink the tea. I have always enjoyed Chinese tea and it's popular at my workplace too. Mother-in-law quickly poured hot water into the tea pack. This tea is supposed to be good for your skin and boost female hormones. You guys are thinking about having kids soon, right? If you like it, I'll tell my friend to get some for you, she said, placing the cup in front of me. The aroma was a bit unusual, but I took a sip anyway. It tasted strange, but I downed it, thinking it was just a new flavor. However, my bad feeling came true. I woke up in the middle of the night with stomach pain, feeling half faint. By the time I felt better, it was already morning. There was no doubt about it. The only thing I had consumed that Stephen hadn't was the suspicious Chinese tea. I told Stephen about it, but he didn't take me seriously.
Karen, that's a terrible accusation. Mom brought that tea to make amends. You're making it sound like she poisoned you. Don't you feel ashamed? It's probably just an upset stomach. Mom would never do something like that.
Stephen wouldn't believe that I was being malicious, but without evidence, I couldn't press the issue. Still, I have been wary of anything from mother-in-law since then. Just before Stephen's birthday, mother-in-law called. Karen, I'm cooking for Stephen's birthday. You can come or not, it's up to you. You're busy, right? Maybe you should take some time to refresh yourself. She was planning to celebrate Stephen's birthday without me. I have been scared to eat anything from her since that day. And homemade food was out of the question. But I was planning to spend Stephen's birthday together, so I felt upset. I thought we would spend his birthday together since we are newlyweds. I assume you have celebrated with him every year until now, so from now on, it's my turn. Before I could finish, she cut me off. Anyway, I want Stephen to come home. You don't have to come, Karen. We can celebrate your birthday next month, okay? I decided to leave the decision to Stephen. That night, he said,
Did you hear? You're free to do whatever you want that day.
He chose mother-in-law over me without hesitation, and I was getting fed up. On Stephen's birthday, he was in high spirits, and it made me feel sick. My feelings for him started to wane. He seemed to enjoy celebrating with just his mom becoming more of a mama's boy, and they started dining out together more frequently. I'm busy with work and can't focus on that all the time. A month flew by, and it was my birthday. We usually celebrated at our favorite restaurant. I assumed this year would be the same, but Stephen surprised me.
Mom wants to celebrate your birthday with us. She would be happiest if you two got along.
I was so shocked, I froze. Stephen, still in high spirits, didn't notice. I said, I wanted to celebrate just with you, Stephen. We weren't together on your birthday, so let's spend mine together. For some reason, Stephen thought I was being polite.
No, you don't have to hold back. Mom offered, so it's fine.
He just didn't get it. I had no choice but to be firm. Stephen, no offense to mother-in-law, but I want to spend my birthday just with you. I want to go to our special restaurant. Then Stephen suddenly got angry.
Don't waste Mom's kindness. You're heartless. Why haven't you noticed that Mom didn't invite you to my birthday? Just do as I say.
It's already a hassle. I was done arguing. And then came my birthday. Instead of a restaurant, we were at home and of course mother-in-law was there. Neither of them seemed interested in my low spirits. I started to get angry as I saw them enjoying themselves in the kitchen. Then the lights went out and the cake came in. I was angry, but the cake helped me cool down a bit. Before blowing out the candles, mother-in-law announced she had a gift. I bought a wine worth $5,000 for your birthday celebration. Let me uncork it right away. The packaging looked worn and the cork was crumbling. Is this what they call vintage? Mother-in-law poured a generous amount of wine into my glass. Even in the dim light, I could see the wine was cloudy. Memories of the Chinese tea incident came flooding back. I took a small sip. What is this? I spat it out immediately and turned on the lights. I turned the bottle of mother-in-law's so-called $5,000 wine upside down in the kitchen sink. Wine flowed down the drain. Stephen quickly grabbed the bottle from me.
You're terrible. Apologize to Mom. What do you think you're doing?
I saw what it meant to have a face filled with anger. Stephen was glaring at me. I poured wine into the glass Stephen was holding. Can you drink this then? Stephen looked puzzled but stubborn. He took a sip. At that moment, mother-in-law shouted, Stephen, don't drink it! Too little, too late. He spat it out immediately.
What the heck is this?
Mother-in-law took the wine away from Stephen. A shocked Stephen asked,
Mom, where did you buy this wine? We need to file a complaint. This is fraud. It's spoiled.
Mother-in-law looked guilty and said, That wine was just sitting in the back of our kitchen. It's 50 years old. I heard on TV that it gains $1,000 in value every year. Vintage wines are properly stored in wine coolers. Upon closer inspection, the cork was more damaged than I thought. It was cloudy and smelled like mold. Even Stephen couldn't hide his surprise. What bothered me was mother-in-law's don't drink it. I suspect she knew it was spoiled, but she would never admit it. I couldn't forgive mother-in-law for this. Can you please leave? I can't keep my composure. Just get out of my sight. Even as I said this, mother-in-law kept making excuses to Stephen. I felt invisible. But even mother-in-law, clearly uncomfortable, made a hasty exit. After she left, Stephen said something unexpected.
Mom doesn't drink, so she wouldn't know. Good thing we didn't give it to anyone else.
Even after all this, Stephen defended mother-in-law as if it were an accident? At that moment, my feelings for him cooled. My resolve solidified against Stephen, who defended mother-in-law despite what she had done to me. I had been turning a blind eye to his excessive attachment to his mom. I want a divorce now. I presented Stephen with divorce papers I had kept just in case. He was speechless. When he asked why, I said, ask yourself, do you know how much I have put up with? I have reached my limit. Then without asking, on top of that, he deeply apologized, saying,
I won't do it again. You're the one for me.
He started confessing to multiple affairs. I had suspected infidelity, but I was shocked to hear about 4 different women. I had no more doubts. I decided to divorce him. There was no need for a private investigator. Evidence of his affairs was plentiful. During our discussion, he suddenly blurted out,
You'll regret divorcing a cool guy like me.
Stephen says like a fool. I was disgusted at my own foolishness for ever loving such a man. Multiple affairs and being a mama's boy were more than enough reasons for divorce. To avoid complications, I decided to hire a lawyer, even if it would be expensive. Stephen initially resisted the divorce, but eventually gave in, perhaps realizing the extent of his mistakes. He went back to his beloved mom. Later, it was revealed that his affair was with a co-worker and he was demoted as a result. Unable to be away from his mother, Stephen quit his job. He's apparently job hunting, but rumors spread fast. He can't find a job in the same field because his workplace affair became public. Still, unable to separate from his mother, he ended up working part-time. Given his arrogant and unreliable nature, it's unlikely he will keep the job for long. I need him to work steadily to pay me alimony. For now, the payments are coming in without issue, so let's call it good. I later found out that mother-in-law, who had acted so high and mighty, was a hoarder. Steven's family home was literally a trash place. No wonder they never wanted me over. Eventually, the stench became a nuisance to the neighbors and the police had to intervene. The thought of drinking wine from that house still makes me sick. Steven can live in his trash place and work his random part-time jobs with his beloved mother-in-law for all I care. I may have returned to my old life, but I'm happier just not being tormented every day. Steven won't be coming to my workplace anymore, so that's a relief. In hindsight, Steven had good looks but nothing else. The fact that he's making the alimony payments is a plus, I guess. Breaking up made me realize this: love is indeed blind. I have learned my lesson this time. I'm putting romance on hold for a while. I want to focus on my career.